Welcome back, and thank you for joining the Matt's Reflections. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, this episode, we're going to be talking about the reactions that we got from the wolf. I did a whole series on the wolf, predatory behavior found in human beings, predators, for everything from the type of banking and lending that can take place to people coming into your life to take advantage of you and look for your injuries and your weaknesses to try to reel you in and to take what you have, to consume you, to eat off of you. So you might want to go back and take a look at that. But I did get a lot of really good responses. I always try to pick, the ones I thought were the most interesting. So I kind of wanted to share some of that with you today. So one very good one that came out was, was in response to a video that I put out about men being protectors and helping to protect you from some of this predatory behavior. Does that still exist even? And so I posted a few times on this. One was a question asking, okay, do you need permission to protect a woman or a girl? Do you need permission? Do you need them to tell you? So this first question is from someone. I don't like to give out names, so it's anonymous. If you ever respond, it's going to be anonymous. I am single with no men in my life who actually think about me like that. What am I supposed to do? Great question. I would ask them to look out for you. And instead of approaching it from a sense of anger or that he's less of a man, we really have to keep in mind that we're in an environment that has been pretty secure for a lot of us. Maybe some of us haven't experienced being attacked or haven't experienced a predator, and maybe that's why we feel so safe. Or maybe we're kind of so used to things happening to us that it just kind of comes with being alive. Maybe we've tricked our minds into thinking that. But instead of approaching it from the standpoint that, he's less of a man or less of a person that, doesn't have this ability to think to protect a woman and that it should be innate and natural, just ask. Like, now you have to speak up. You just speak up. Honey, I feel like I would like more masculine energy. Like I would like to feel like you're concerned enough about me to want to protect me, and say it in a nice way. You don't have to be like, what kind of man are you where I haven't even heard from you. You know what I mean? A lot of it, I'm finding it's the environment that we live in. We're shaped and molded by our environment. But just ask, and make sure that they understand this is your brothers, your father, your husband, whoever these people are in your life, these men that you feel like could do a better job of protecting you. Let them know you're not one of these super women. I think it's getting a little confusing out here for some people. That it's really there's this presence that, maybe women don't really need anything. Like maybe we can just live on our own and have a wonderful time and everything's fantastic. That ain't it. That's not the truth of the matter. So because it's becoming so popular, the superwoman thing, just let them know that's not you. Like you actually would appreciate the support. Another thing is just a sister circle. Just, it can be your sisters, it can be your friends. Someone shared with me that they are on their friend's GPS. So one thing that, my family has, like my husband and my girls and myself and my mom and some of my sisters, we are on each other's GPS where we can see where you are. I think that's an excellent idea. So getting into a sister circle or creating some sort of GPS format where if something happens to you, somebody knows about it. It's comforting. It's comforting. So that was one really good question. Another one was, I'm married and have family, but am used to traveling and doing things on my own. I don't feel like I need protection to do this. And I totally understand this because I myself, until recently, I don't know what's happened to me since I've gotten into my 40s. Until recently, I was really just like kick butt. Like, if anything happens to me, I'm gonna handle it, and you're gonna be sorry. And I mean, tough though, like workout, muscles, all of that, and just feeling like. But now I'm just like, I don't want to do all of that. Like, yeah, I still work out, I still take great care of myself. But honestly, I like to feel protected. I like the security of feeling protected now. Maybe I'm tired of it. Maybe that's what happens when you try to be Superwoman. And, after a while, when you realize you don't have to be, you really don't. If you have the right man, if you have the right situation, then what's the point of doing that? So I'm just like, at this point in my life, I ain't trying to do all of that. But back to the question. So I'm married, I have family, I'm used to traveling and doing things on my own. I don't feel like I need protection to do this. So there are many different types of women. Some women have military backgrounds. Some women will kick your behind. Some women carry mace, they carry knives. I know women that carry all kinds of stuff, and you don't want to just pop up on a sister because something terrible could happen to you. But some women are very aware of their circumstances, and they're very conscious when they go out of the fact that they may be attacked. But this is not the average. This is not the average woman. I'm telling you, the average woman is lugging some children around, lugging some grandchildren around, vulnerable much of the time that they're out, whether it's they're compromised by the outfit that they have on. They got on high heels and, restrictive clothing. That's all compromising, whether they're on their phones, talking to friends, and you know how we're multitasking all the time. This is compromising when you're out in public. And even your headscarves, there are a lot of Muslim women that wear headscarves. I don't wear mine all the time. I wear it sometimes. But I'm going to tell you, when I'm out, especially if I got to be out at night, I'm not putting a scarf around my neck. Because to me, this is my personal opinion, my personal observation, I'll call it, is if someone wanted to attack me and I have a scarf around my neck, like literally, have a good night. It's not going to be a whole lot I can do. So, that's something to think about though. It really is, depending on how you move about. If you're with your man and you one of these women that, knows karate and jujitsu or whatever, I can't think of the name of it, but jujitsu? I don't know. Anyway, maybe someone can correct me in the comments or something. But if you're one of those, fine. Then you have the women that actually do drink and smoke, that these things, this is another compromising thing. On top of all the things I just named, you're hanging out, you're drinking a little bit here and there throughout the day. All that stuff does something to your intellect. You're smoking a little bit of weed. All that stuff does something to your intellect. It brings you down a little bit. You're not going to be quite as alert. But yes, I understand there are women that can handle themselves. I'm not saying that there are not. But what I am saying, though, that we should be aware of is that as women, tough women even, a man is built a little bit tougher than you a lot of the times. If he's got nothing but muscles and you got nothing but muscles, you're probably the one that's going down. Okay. Yes, there's some weak, scrawny men. I understand that too. But I just think that, we need to make sure that we haven't gotten to the point or aren't getting to the point where we think that we're stronger than men physically. Also, there's such thing as moving around publicly and privately. So let's talk about that. So making sure that, if you're in a parking lot, get out of the car when other people are getting out of the car. If it's nighttime, park somewhere where there's a light on, just kind of, these are just some safety things that I think that are helpful. If you're dating, date in public. Don't go to places that, where you're compromising yourself. And really, you shouldn't even be with someone, be dating someone that you don't know well enough to know whether they're going to do something to you. But I want to share a story. So, I am a business owner. So one day, this was a while back. This is when I thought I was tough. Okay. This is maybe about 20 years ago. And so I'm a business owner, coming out of my business, and the sun was just setting. And I I always paid attention to I was one of those. I always paid attention to my surroundings. And I could see that there was someone all the way across the street. Like it was far enough for me not to be concerned. But I already checked that out. And I was the last one to leave. I was leaving by myself. I was closing. And so I turned around. I kind of catty corner turned to get ready to lock the door. All of a sudden, I see this man running towards me. There is no one else around. So, me being the tough woman that I thought I was back then, and I probably would have given this dude a round. Really, I think I could have done some things, but in that moment when something like that is getting ready to happen to you, you don't know what you're going to do. You think you know, but you don't know until it happens. So for me, I like threw everything I had on the ground, like literally slammed it, like tossed it on the ground really hard, and I squared off with this guy. And so he slowed down and he stopped because I guess he thought about it like, okay, if she's doing all that, she must have something I don't know about. And so it was maybe a 15-second stare down. And finally, he turned around. So, my adrenaline was going. And so then at that moment, I hurried up, ran to my car, got in, and rode out. But when I think about it now, I'm like, that was so stupid. I would never recommend anyone do that, and I would never do that again myself. What I should have done was unlock the door and gone back inside and locked the door and called someone like a sane person. But that's what you do when you think you're Superwoman. Definitely don't do that. And maybe if I had thought about, okay, what is it exactly that I would do step by step if something were to happen? Maybe it could have been in my head, but I had never thought about being attacked. So, thank God that, nothing terrible happened. But I was lucky. I know people that have been robbed by gunpoint. I know people who've been in these kind of situations like that. But, I'm not going to pretend like I'm the woman king. I'm not, going to be T'Challa's sister. I'm not interested in being Superwoman. We don't even have to do that. I think if we start putting our minds in a place where we believe and we are okay with trying to be a different way. Be alert and all that, but don't put yourself out there to get hurt. That's just a bad idea. Okay, so moving on to the next question I had, or reaction I had, was, aren't there good benefits for human beings aren't there good benefits for humans to being a dog or a wolf? What about protectors under the right circumstances? Why don't I talk about those things? Well, just to make it clear, human beings are the most elevated creation. That should be understood. So we're not looking to behave like the animals. Okay, well, so what I do is I look to see where I see it. And honestly, today, a lot of us have lost so many of our human kindness, human compassion, human traits, respect for the intellect, respect for education. A lot of us have just respect for human life, have lost a lot of that, and we're seeing more animalistic behavior. So it's not that I don't think that there are good things about animals. Of course there are, but we're not looking to be like animals. But when the behavior shows up, we should recognize it and check it. Okay, another reaction that was sent to me, that I picked from those that were sent. Are there any signs that I can look out for that will tell me if the dog that I am with is more like a wolf and a potential threat? So, the fact that he's acting like a dog, and you know that he's a dog, and you're calling him a dog, and you're saying that you're with him, if that is true, then, and he's a dog, then yes, he has the potential to be predatory. Anyone that acts like a dog has the potential to be predatory. And instead of trying to figure it out, you shouldn't be in a relationship with someone who's a dog. I mean, it sounds like you're trying to figure out how you can make this relationship work with someone that you know that's a dog. I mean, if you're a moral person or someone that's decent, I mean, I would hope you would want better for yourself than that. Now, this next one, this might be the last one on here. This last one that I chose, I posted an Instagram post. It's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, some other platforms, and I said, should you check your child's phone? And I said, yes, you should. If you're under my roof, then you have limited free will, right? And so this particular post got over 50,000 views, and I don't even know how many likes it got. But I would say, maybe 1/4 of the people that responded thought that you shouldn't check your child's phone. So I was actually surprised. I was surprised at the number of adults that do not check their child's phone. I thought it was a no-brainer. But, the more I'm doing this, the more surprised I am every day at what people really think and what they're really thinking. So, I mean, one of the comments, I'll start reading some of them. My parents let me do whatever I wanted, my parents let me do whatever I wanted, though there were things most parents protect their kids from. Okay. But their way of raising me kept me close. Every child is different, so there is no real way to know for sure how to raise them. I 100% disagree. So the fact that you're saying that your parents let you do whatever you want, but these were things that most parents would protect their child from, that's not okay. Like if the parents need to protect their children. There's no question mark in that. That's why I guess I was so like, what are people talking about? So I had to try to really reread things and pay attention. And I understood some things, but your job is to protect. So the more harm you can keep your child away from, the more likely they are to be mentally and physically okay. Just simple as that. It is your job. Now, the other thing is, the first time, this is important, the first time that a person experiences something, it tends to be the most powerful. So that's a really darn good reason to check your child's phone. You don't want other people being the first time for your child. You should be giving them their first educational experience. You should be opening up the door to perception for your child. And, if you do not, those experiences can be so powerful that by the time you get around to explaining your point of view, you can't reach them. That first impression was it for them. That's their measuring stick now. So that's another reason why it's so important. But as parents, it's your job. You're accountable. No matter how they turn out, you are accountable for protecting them from predators, right? What happens when something happens to them, right? And what happens when your mindset is, I want to be friends. I'm not going to check your phone and I trust you, but something happens to them. It's going to backfire, and they're probably going to start looking at you like, why didn't you protect me? So are you sure you want to take that stance? Someone else had commented that they work with youth, and this past summer, one of our children was murdered by a man she had been talking to online. Now, there's no way to find that information out unless you are in your child's phone, okay, or on their social media, on their computer, checking. There's a way to do it. You don't have to be a jerk about it, right? And honestly, you don't even have to sneak around to do it. I think if you love on your children as much as you are a disciplinarian, it balances them. It balances out. I think maybe that's one of the problems I was hearing with some of the comments was, like these were people from families that were heavy disciplinary, or that maybe the parents weren't as loving. And I used the term under my roof, and maybe that triggered it. But one comment in regards to that was, I think you should check, but not in a way that is my house, my phone, my rules. It gives them more of an opportunity to hide things from you. I do agree with that, but there is a difference. There's a difference between my roof and our house. I say my roof, our house. I don't say my house. Okay. So the difference between, if you're going to say my roof and my house, there is a difference. My roof equals I am the protector. That's what a roof is. All right. I am the protector. This don't have nothing to do with you. Okay. This don't have nothing to do with our house and you living in it. I'm the protector. It is my roof that you're under. Okay. That's my job. So I wanted to make that very clear. But yeah, I don't agree with the concept of saying that, this is my house, this is my this is my that, because I think that can be damaging in some ways. But it is my roof, and that's where the line is drawn. No phone, no party, no, nothing is going to make me change my mind about protecting you. I don't see where a parent has leeway in that area. And then, you know what? If you're able to love on your child as much as you're a disciplinarian and you have to take their phone, they understand. I have 2 girls. I've raised children. My first child, I was more of a disciplinarian. That's because my parents were disciplinarians and their parents were disciplinarians. You know how this thing goes. Now the environment has changed. Everybody's a little softer, with their children and things like that, and what you say and how you say it, and the difference between a spanking and a pinch and a love tap, and all of these things are coming about. So yes, your kids are going to be raised different, but you can see the difference. My first child, if I took her phone, and I did take it for 3 years, and she'll tell you that, it didn't have the effect I wanted it to have, but I think that's because I was more of a disciplinarian. This child, the second child, I'm a lot more loving, as much loving, if not more, than I am disciplinarian. I haven't had to take her phone, but if I did, I think she would understand that, okay, she's doing this to protect me. I really believe that. So that's kind of how you can balance it out, But no parent should allow their child to be in a compromising situation on purpose and then say they trust their child to know what to do. That's not it, guys. Definitely not it. Okay, so moving on to this is actually the last reaction question. I thought that last one was it. Are you saying that African Americans have been left behind, or that we are choosing to stay behind? So this was in response to one of the videos I posted on the WOOF, Racing Without Morals, or Left Behind in the Race. That's the one that I had posted. And this is in response to that. And I was talking about how, a lot of us are not in the race. We are not in the financial race. We're not in the race to build family life. We're not in the race to have community life. We're not in the race towards good health, And so the person is asking, am I saying that we've been left behind, or that we're choosing to stay behind? And my answer is going to be a little bit of both. I had a unique experience, and I'm bringing this up because it is, I think it may help you understand my perspective when I wrote on this. But I went to Israel, and I went to the Holocaust Museum, and they had this saying in Jewish culture of the world watched, while the world watched, specifically. And what it means is that while they were being tortured, the world watched, like nobody came to save them. And, me being the African-American girl from Capitol Heights, I'm not a historian, I'm just, I love to study. I love a lot of things, but I'm just a person, I'm over there in a land where I don't recognize much of anything. I'm just listening. And it's an amazing experience for me, by the way. But after it was all said and done and we went through the tour, And some of the last words she said was, while the world watched. And me being an ancestor of slaves, I couldn't help but to think, well, but why didn't anybody help us either? So I said to her, the guide, I said to her, that's something we have in common, is that the world watched while, we were being abused and taken advantage of. Nobody came and tried to take our hand and help us out of there or anything. And so she looked at me. She didn't respond. She just had this look and this stare. And it just looked like she was thinking about it, like, wow, man, and like I never thought about that before. And we shared that moment. But yes, the world did wash. The world, for a time, the world washed, I think. And nobody really tried to, save us in terms of, a group of people coming in to start a war or something to get us out of slavery. But then things kind of flipped a little bit. More resources became available, opportunities. And then we kind of, like we said, choosing to stay behind. We kind of chose that. We're starting to choose to stay behind at this point. And that's really what I meant by that. A little bit of both. I think we could do better as African Americans in so many ways. I think we have the resources. I think we could make all the difference that we talk about. I think we could actually make all the difference that we talk about, and that we have to start looking at ourselves a lot more closely than looking at other people or blaming other people or analyzing other people. Maybe start analyzing what we're doing, like critically analyzing what we're doing, why we're still complaining, and why we are not where we want to be in terms of family life, in terms of business establishment, in terms of the type of lifestyle that we want to actually live. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys subscribe. Stay tuned. My next videos are going to be on the sheep. That's where we're going, and it's going to be something like I studied hours sitting up, just amazed at some of this material. And I think you're going to really appreciate this. So be sure to subscribe, be sure to comment, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.